So my last video, AI ROI is fake, got tremendous response, more response than I expected. So I thought we could use this briefing to build on it together. Because here's the thing. Most AI investments are currently being tracked as innovation assets. In reality, they are rapidly becoming balance sheet liabilities. And the failure isn't in the technology, it's not in the large language models like ChatGPT, Copilot, or in the AI agents. It's in the institutional plumbing that they're being forced into. And if you're approving AI spend based on potential rather than process redesign, you're funding a technical debt bubble that will burst at the first quarterly audit. Hi, I'm Jason Hahn. I spent 18 years as a global CIO managing budgets exceeding $150 million across multiple industries. And I've sat on both sides of the table, presenting these numbers to the board and later challenging them as an advisor. And I've seen this automation on top of chaos mistake in every major tech cycle for over 2 decades. But why does this issue persist? Because organizations are trying to automate already bad processes instead of redesigning operations for this new world. And now we're facing a silicon-based workforce reality check. 90% of agentic projects failed in 2025. 90%. Not because of code, not because of the technology, but because companies are paving over potholes rather than trying to rebuild the road. So to avoid this, leadership must demand a process-first architecture. And this framework requires 3 non-negotiable filters before a single dollar is spent. First, redesign over automation. Does this tool fix a workflow, or is it just automating an already bad process? Second, the economics. What's the run rate once this is in place for daily use compared to what it costs to put it in place in the first place? And third, data integrity. And I'll talk more about this, but this is vital. Because does leadership have insight for project drift and data accuracy, or are you just flying blind? And let me give you an example about this. So I recently advised a client that had spent $5 million on AI agents for their finance function. They expected a 60% ROI within 2 years. Instead, they saw 0% impact. Why? Data integrity. Because their underlying data was so poor that only 10% of their CFOs actually trusted the outputs. Because the only way any of what they call AI, whether it's LLMs like ChatGPT or agents, can be effective and trustworthy is if your data is normalized. And what do I mean by normalized? You probably heard that term thrown around before by your CIO or your tech leadership. But what does that mean to you? Quite simply, it means that the majority of your data, the data that you rely on to run your business, the data that you rely on to produce financials, is in either one or very few places. And that data is the only source of truth. Key data can't reside in Excel spreadsheets and old Access database programs. We all know that it does. Look, I've been doing this for close to 30 years now, and I've yet to see a company whose data is that strictly normalized. So they didn't have an AI problem. They had a governance mandate they ignored. As a leader, your role is not to implement tools. Your role is to ensure the intelligence layer is defensible. So you need to stop asking things like, what can AI do? And start asking, Is our data infrastructure production ready? Is it normalized to the point that we can do autonomous forecasting or processes? If the answer is no, then the AI spend is severely premature. And this is the work I do now with boards and executive teams who are really tired of approving spend that is financially indefensible. And if this is the conversation happening in your conference rooms and in your boardroom, I can bring clarity to your questions and concerns. My details are below. Redesigning the process is the first step. But even a perfect process fails if the board is already skeptical of the ROI numbers themselves, which is happening more and more. To understand why that skepticism exists and how to fix it, you should watch my deep dive, and the link is now available on screen, on why ROI is fake for AI and what to do about it. Now, my next briefing is going to be about DR, but in the realm of ROI. And as leadership, you've probably never had it explained to you the way I will put it to you to make you understand that disaster recovery is only one component of an entire BCP program. And I think you'll get a lot out of it. And the impact not having a good one can have on ROI. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you at the next briefing. Thank you.